Hello and welcome to this edition of ACS Matters. I'm John Wright, sitting here in the brand new Cecilia Valley Elementary School library. It's it's the second day of July as we start this new school year. It's hard to believe that school will start in a little bit more than a month, and Nikki Cullum is our guest today. Nikki is the brand new principal at Cecilia Valley Elementary School, and welcome to the district. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
So tell us about yourself and just so we can get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Indiana.
Okay.
Born and raised there. Attended Indiana University for undergrad, and then worked in a public school district called Avon Community Schools for 9 years as a teacher and instructional coach. Then I moved to Tennessee about 7 years ago and had the opportunity to work in a private setting for 7 years in an elementary school as both a teacher and assistant division head or assistant principal role.
Mm-hmm. So you've gone above us and below us. Now you're finally in Kentucky. So
Yes.
you've been moved into our area for about a day. So what are your thoughts on being here?
Oh, I'm just so thrilled to be here, and everyone has been so warm and welcoming. So I really just can't wait to get to know the community and get involved in the community more. So you were an instructional coach. I think maybe some folks may have. What is that, and what did you do there? In that role, our district leadership team deemed important and high quality teaching skills, and so they had their instructional coaches receive professional development that we could then share with the teachers within the district.
Okay.
Some modeling of lessons and then visiting teacher classrooms, that kind of thing.
Okay, all right. And then your assistant principal role in the private school setting, how has that maybe helped you grow into this role?
Oh, it's been great. I've had the opportunity to provide professional development. I've had the opportunity to facilitate meetings with families and teachers, help with student regulation to help them be successful, and really just support teachers and students both and families.
So Cecilia Valley is probably, or Hardin County, Kentucky, obviously we do things different, as I'm sure you've researched. What are some differences that you see between where you've been and where you are now?
Mm-hmm. Well, Hardin County, I love that it's such a large district. I think that just multiplies your resources and the great knowledge that's going to be here, people that I can work with. The teacher community has been very warm and welcoming, and so I feel like when you get a big school like this in a big district, you're just going to have a lot of processes that are in place to help students be successul, and I really just look forward to getting to know those new processes.
Sure. Talk about some similarities that you maybe have already picked up on between where you've been and where you are now.
The biggest one I'd say is students first. When I had my interview for this position, I was just blown away by the group of teachers and parents that I met with, and they were just so determined to let me know that that's their first priority, and just how they operate as a family is kind of a setting I've come from, operates like that, and I think that when you work together, it's so much easier.
Talk about, and maybe this probably is an unfair question, you've been here an hour as we take this interview, but you talked about a big district, but a very small community, Cecilia is, but very, very close-knit, and you'll see that as you go through your experiences here. Just talk about the advantages of having a close-knit, maybe smaller community.
I think just the pride that in a small community that people have in education and their students, and that you work together as a small community, as a smaller family. And I really will depend on both the teachers and parents and students to teach me more about this community and the values of the community, the things that are important.
You'll see that they're great. You'll see that this is a wonderful community. Talk about kind of your educational philosophy, and we talked some about students first, but kind of elaborate on that if you don't care. Absolutely.
I would say the biggest thing is that in my philosophy that all students can learn and all students can be successful with the right tools in place. That's the primary factor. I believe in differentiation of instruction to meet all student needs. I believe in utilizing the gifts of individual teachers because all teachers come with their own unique set of gifts and tools. And then collaboration is huge on my list of importance. Working together as faculty and as a student body.
What makes, what kind of got you into the educational field? What kind of motivated you to get into education?
Well, as I shared in my interview, I was like that kid who grew up playing teacher. You know, my mom was a teacher and eventually ended her career as director of special education in the district in Indiana that I taught in. And so I just watched her. I would go to school with her, and you know, when I was younger, it was kind of just a lot of little kids played teacher. But then as I started getting older in high school, there were different programs available for high school students to interact with younger students and continue to just enjoy it and know that that was the field that I wanted to pursue.
Students, as you said, differentiation is a big key. Give us some examples of how you've been successful with that, as I know you have.
Mm-hmm. Well, differentiation can happen through content, product, and process. So I think as a teacher, just trying to get to know my students better and figure out process-wise, how can different students show me that they know information through a different way. You can't always change the content because of standards and being tied to standards, but and I think just the process in which teachers have permission to be creative as far as getting their students to show them what they need and in their form of delivery of information for students.
Collaboration you touched on is a big key. Mm-hmm. How have you seen that really help instruction?
Well, teaching is such a huge role. There's a lot for teachers to, sort through as far as their own time management, planning, and so really if they can collaborate with their colleagues, it saves time immensely and is more effective, and so they can kind of share the wealth a little bit. And so I think that also students pick up on the culture of the school and their teachers and how they get along. So I think just teachers treating one another with respect and the students with respect, those are all part of that collaboration piece that I mentioned.
Culture is obviously a huge success or a huge piece of success, especially at the elementary school level. What are some ideas for culture, some things that kind of floating around in your head to build culture and to maintain the great culture that's here at Cecilia Valley?
Well, I was going to say the first thing is I believe there is already a great culture from what I've understood up to this point and learned. So really just my first role will be to learn about the current culture and to just come in and learn and ask questions and be a support to teachers and students. And I hope to continue developing that culture through professional development, through just positive morale boosting activities within the school, getting involved with the community and student activities, through Cecilia Valley.
What are some big differences? And you've obviously you spent a lot of time in the public school setting, you spent a lot of time in the private school setting, and you're back in the public school setting. What are some differences that you saw and you can bring back to the public school setting that you've been in or that you're now in again?
Yeah, I think being in the private setting, just kind of seeing some creative ways to go about doing things outside the box a little bit. Also just my knowledge of helping students with specific learning styles that may learn in a different way. So helping teachers think outside the box and feeling the freedom to try different tools.
You have youth on your side. I don't think anybody watching this would see that. Talk about how that maybe is a help for you, and you got youth, but yet you also have seen a lot in your time.
Yeah, I have. I feel that as far as I've always been up for a new change and challenge. I think growth is really important, and so I've been so grateful to work and have opportunities, like I said, to teach in different grade levels, to see different tools, and as an instructional coach and as an assistant division head, just to be in a lot of classrooms. I think that has been a huge blessing just because I can see the gifts of so many different teachers, or have seen. And so when you put all that together, you just make that toolbox a little stronger.
So this school has probably the most up-to-date technology that we have in the district. We have 2 more coming, so I'm sure the technology will change when you walk around those new schools when they're completed. But how big is technology in today's learning environment?
I think it's really important just because students are motivated by it. And so although it's not everything, it is important because in order to help them be ready for their lives and futures professionally, I think that it'll give them an advantage as far as being prepared for the opportunities that will lie ahead for them. There's lots of great ways as far as delivery, differentiation, small group instruction, and making meaningful time of small groups in teacher classrooms.
We've talked a lot in our district, and you may have researched this, but about even preparing elementary students for careers and making sure that they know what they're going to have to do through our work ethic certification program and therefore and such as that. But just talk about how it's probably not too early even at the elementary school level to start thinking about what you want to do when you grow up, so to speak.
Absolutely, yeah. I think helping students just to see that that they don't, although I was followed in my mom's footsteps, you don't always have to do what your parents did, and there's a lot of things now that are jobs that weren't even jobs 10 years ago.
Right.
So helping them see, number one, that finding their own talents, but also just developing some of those basic foundational skills that are going to be helpful in any job setting. So, hard work, discipline, following through with your promises, those kinds of things as far as social skill development, I think will apply to a lot of settings.
Right. Well, as we come to a close here, it's just a month away, or a little bit more than a month away, August 9th, of the first day of school. What does that day look like in your head?
Oh, it's so exciting. It's a day of just excitement and family building and smiles and joy and teachers, greeting their students and me greeting students and families and parents. It's going to be great. I'm really, really excited.
All right. We're going to put the date for Cecilia Valley's open house at the bottom of the screen a couple times as we go through this interview, and so you could see when the opportunity to come by and meet Ms. Cullum is. She's a wonderful principal. You'll get to know her. She's very open, and you'll get to see that through the 18-19 school year. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're on our next visit to meet our next new principal. We've left Cecilia Valley Elementary and made our way up to the northern part of the county to talk with James Luttrell, the new principal at Vine Grove Elementary. Welcome to the district.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and excited to be a part of the family.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is James Luttrell. I graduated from Meade County High School, 1998. Seems like a long time ago now, and it gets longer as we keep going.
Right.
From there, went to the University of Kentucky, so I'm a Kentucky fan, yes. Spent 5 years there, got my master's degree in education. Then was hired on at Stuart Pepper Middle School in Meade County. From there, I was there for 2 years. I transferred over to Meade County High School, taught history, loved it, passion for history, and started an AP European History program there. Taught Meade County High School for 7 years. Opportunity came about, finished my administrative degree at Western Kentucky, so Hilltopper also, and then opportunity came out in Breckinridge County for the middle school, went there as assistant principal, and from there, lo and behold, elementary position came open. Excited for that opportunity. It was a new experience for me. Spent 5 years there. The school made tremendous gains, had a great time and opportunity with students to see them develop. Beyond academics, I'm married. I have 3 kids, 3 boys. They remind me of the Three Stooges. I have Jackson's my oldest, he's 8. Nixon's my youngest, is 6. And then Jameson is my youngest, and he's 19 months.
Okay, all right. So you've kind of, professionally and personally, you've kind of been around the world, so to speak. Talk about the advantage that you maybe have, the advantage of being well-rounded as far as middle school, elementary school, high school. I would think that would be a huge advantage in the principal's role.
Absolutely. I think the biggest advantage is it gives me the perspective of, begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I know where these students are going to end up, and I know what we have to prepare them for to be successful in that. Mm-hmm. Being in teaching, really at this point in time, I've taught 6th grade through 12th grade, and I've been a principal pre-K through 12. Mm-hmm. So having that ability to see kind of where and how everything fits together vertically It also gives me the ability to understand, the different mindsets of elementary, middle school, and high school teachers and how that operates, and so that we can, work closely, because JT Alton's just right across the football field. So working closely with those staff to ensure that we prepare our students, give our students the best opportunities that are out there.
What are the major differences between elementary school students, middle school students? I mean, besides the obvious differences, what, as far as educationally, how do you have to adjust to make sure that you reach each individual student at those levels?
Elementary students, I'll first say this, I was a high school teacher. Elementary teachers are phenomenal, phenomenal. They know, without a shadow of a doubt, their kids, every single kid, where they are academically, not only in one subject area like I used to have to know, but in every subject area they'd know exactly where their child was, and they would know what they needed to do to push them to the next level. Probably the biggest difference I see, you're talking about kids, the kids want the same thing. They want to know they're loved. They want to know you care about them, and they want to know that you're going to hold them to high standards. Now, I can tell you, I didn't get a whole lot of hugs in middle school and high school. Elementary, definitely. But, high school kids and middle school kids, they still want to know you love them and care about them. I could go up to a high school guy and, touch him on the shoulder or something like that. And it was the same thing as giving them a big old hug. But they want to know that you care about them beyond just the academics. They want to know that you care about their success. And that's, to me, the most significant thing is letting students know and teachers and staff know I care about them beyond just the academics. I want them to continue to improve. I want to help them become the best version of themselves that they can.
So how do you do that? What are the keys to that success? The
keys, I think, is to definitely have an understanding of where that person is, have an understanding of where that person wants to go, and then help them along the way. A student who struggles reading, obviously the key to and component to reading that's going to improve them is practice it. Sit down with them. Take the time to sit down with them. Say, hey, let's read this passage. Work at their level, find out where they are, and then provide opportunities and steps and a strategy to get them where they want to go. And the same thing with I call them the big kids, and I'm one of the big kids. The same things with adults in the building. One of the things I generally ask my staff is, what's your vision for your career? Where do you want to end up? And it's my job to help you get there. And provide you with those strategies and those structures and those, that feedback that's action-oriented, that feedback that causes you to have action to help you get there. Because it's my job to make you the best version. It's not my job to create your best version. It's my job to help you get there.
What are some of the creative ways that you've kind of made that transition yourself from teacher to principal? How was that transition for you personally?
It was interesting. It took me a little bit of time, because in the grand scheme of things, it's in a classroom. I was trying to help each individual child, become their best version, and it was more academically based, to where it was more specific. Especially, I taught history all day long, so it's more specific to the content standards. To where once I had transitioned over into the principal's role, it really had me step back and look and say, each one of these staff members need a different thing from me. It's not the content anymore. It could be strategies. It could be classroom management. It could be, just building up their self-esteem. It could be any of those facets. So it became more, I guess, wide open, if you will, opposed to just history content. But really it's finding out what is the specific things that the adults need and the children need to help them be successful.
I remember when you were introduced after the site-based council voted on you and hired you, I remember you said, I want to get to know every child at Vine Grove Elementary School. And when you have 500 and some kids, it may seem as a daunting task, but you've been an elementary school principal and you've done it. How do you do that?
One of the things I always do is I always call kids by their names, always. Yes, 500 is a lot, and it'll take me a little bit to get there, but I think it creates that personal relationship. Anything that I view as valuable is something that I feel like has to be done, and that's something that has to be done. Both students and staff, I think it's important to get to know them beyond just, whatever their grades and scores and stuff like that are. One of my personal philosophies is we work hard for people we like or we respect. So I think by, getting to know each individual student beyond just the classroom, they have ball games, if they have, dance or academic or anything like that, I think it's important to know that so that you can have those conversations. One of the things I do with adults and kids, oftentimes I'll carry around the notepad and I'll write it down so I can keep track of kind of some of those small things that are outside of school, outside of academics, those personal things that I can remember and go back and look at too.
Why did you want to be the principal at Vine Grove Elementary?
I think one of the reasons why it's a great community. I live in Vine Grove. I live on the Meade County side of Vine Grove, but still in Vine Grove.
Right.
I understand the great culture and atmosphere that's been established here for academic excellence. And it's a challenge to me that I want to continue that academic excellence and take it to the next level. There was a writer who talks about 212, and 212 is simply the idea of that's the temperature of what water boils. My philosophy is taking people from that 211 where it's just hot water, 1 degree. Can we give that one little extra? Can we give one little extra, focus or strategy that's going to take you to the next level? So one of the reasons why I chose here, obviously, is because it is a great established academic school, and it's exciting to be a part of teaching students who are passionate about it, to work with staff who is passionate about making these kids the best they can.
I think all of our schools have great culture. I mean, we in an audit several years ago, we got a 5 in culture, which you just don't
see that, yes.
You don't see a 5 in culture very often. So talk about how you maintain culture at Vine Grove Elementary School. Things beyond academics. Excuse me.
Right, definitely beyond academics. Culture, I think, starts from the leadership as far as the aspect of making sure that you know the individual staff members, know them outside of the school. I've done in the past sometimes where I'll just call an impromptu faculty meeting and we'll just eat nachos and hang out. I've done things where they'll go into different classrooms and they find a treasure hunt. So they go into a different classroom, write down something that they can steal from that classroom teacher that they can take back to their own, and then we'll share it in the staff workroom. So we kind of see and praise each other, congratulate each other, and support each other when those successes come. So I think it's really creating that family atmosphere that we're all in this together and we have the same common goal, and it's students.
Your first month was, as we tape this, we're on the 2nd of July. Your first month, we got a little bit more than a month until first day of school. What's that day look like in your mind? What's that day look like for your first day of school at Vine Grove?
I'm probably just as bad as kids. I'll probably be up that night, lack of sleep. I was a principal at Custer for 5 years, and I still, that night before that first day, would get excited. It's building that capacity that first day when students come in. And I tell the staff this all the time, make them want to come back for more. That's our sole purpose, I feel like, on that first day. Get them home safely, yes. Make them want to come back for more. Plant that seed that this is going to be a great year, a great place. Yes, I'm going to be pushed to my max, and I'm going to be held to high expectations, but make them want to come back for more. Make them want to be that desire. Make them want to wake up in the morning and say, yes, I get to go to school today. That's what we need to plant.
You came from, Meade County was a pretty good sized district. Breckenridge County, a little bit smaller district, and now you come to Hardin County where there's 15,000 students, 2,500 staff members. How do you make that transition?
I think for me the transition is, I'm perfectly fine accepting the things that I don't know, and I will be more than happy to find the people who do. So I'll seek out, other people and other opportunities for people to kind of ask questions, bounce ideas off of. I've tried to contact some of the other elementary principals already just to contact them. I'm very open. I look at opportunities, like you say, where you have so many staff members as an opportunity to meet new people. I'm one that if there's a room full of people you don't know, there's a ton of new friends I could just make. So I think making myself approachable, going out and speaking to the staff, going out and speaking to the principals, asking their input, because I value, obviously coming outside the district, I value their input for those principals and administration who have been established here. And the front office, the board has been incredible with, opportunities where I've had to call and say, well, I'm not for sure here. They will immediately give me to the right person and give me the answer that I'm I need.
Awesome. Well, welcome, as you said, welcome to the family. We're excited to have you and excited for your ideas here at Vine Grove Elementary School. So we're going to put the dates for Vine Grove Elementary's open house on the bottom of our screen here a couple times during our interview. You probably have already seen that. And so where you can come by and meet Mr. Luttrell. His door is open. He's very approachable, and you'll certainly enjoy getting to know Mr. Luttrell over the weeks and months and even years to come, as we hope, hint, hint, we hope he's here for a long, long time. So thank you for watching.